department, we have various divisions, and one of the divisions is ethics, policy and prevention. Our work is mainstreaming ethics and integrity in KRA operations. We also have a division for IMD, Intelligence Management Division, whereby they deal with intelligence collection. We also have a division that is called Internal Affairs Division, whereby it deals with investigation of staff. Another division is Integrity Assurance Division, and the main work is they conduct lifestyle audit. They also do what we call vetting and also conducting background checks. And for our staff, before they are promoted or they are transferred, vetting must be conducted to ascertain whether they are people of integrity. We have 17 national values as enshrined in the Constitution under Article 10. The 17 national values, they clearly state what values need to be embedded to individuals and also the people of Kenya and also our staff in KRA. It's mandatory for them to understand the principles of national values. So we have a director that deals with national values. We will normally report to them, and also every year in the month of April we normally inform the president, and the president normally makes what we call a presidential state address to inform the public what KRA is doing to ensure that they are complying to the 17 national values. That's why it's very key for us to train our staff on national values, but at the same time also train our taxpayers to inform them what we are doing with regard to mainstreaming ethics and integrity in KRA. Patriotism is a very key value, and probably before I go to the national values, let me allude to what value is. Value is a belief. It's a principle that guides us. It's a principle that we learn from various agents of socialization. The agents can be either our family members, it can be either the media, it can be our teachers, the religious group, and even the politician. So the value system guides us, and actually it makes us maybe to be of integrity if we happen to abide to the right values. Values can either be good or either they can be wrong. So it's upon us to decide which value are we supposed to follow. So as I go to the value number 1, patriotism. I love quoting John F. Kennedy. He said, let's not think what we can do for the country. Let's not think what the country can do for us. Let's think what we can do for the country. So patriotism, it's about us loving our country. Loving our country, and also it's about us doing the right thing. And also to our taxpayers, how can you love the country? It's by you abiding to the principle of patriotism, by you loving the country, and also paying taxes. Paying taxes should be voluntary, but not forceful. It's about us protecting and sustaining the environment. And also it's about us ensuring that things are done properly in our country. Most of the times we found in our country things are being done properly. Like for instance, we have what we call prohibited items, we have what we call restricted items. We normally find prohibited items, for instance, narcotics coming to our country, illicit trade being brought to our country, being conducted in our country. So you wonder, how do we have illicit trade in our country? How do we have narcotics, pornographic materials coming to our country? So by loving our country, we're supposed to abide to the principle of patriotism by us loving our country and ensuring that things are being done appropriately and correctly. That is patriotism. National unity is about having what we call one country, one nation, and one people. One people, sovereignty is very key. People are indispensable in a country. National unity, we come together as all tribes with a common good, with a common goal, with a vision and purpose. Remember that when you don't have a vision in life, when you don't have a purpose in life, there's no way we can achieve our objective. So national unity enables us to come together. And also KRA is abiding to that policy, to that value, whereby when you go to various KRA offices, you find people from various tribes, from various who have studied various backgrounds. So through that, they're able to serve our taxpayers appropriately, and they can be able to be assisted. Taxpayers are able to be assisted at the right way, at the right manner. National unity is very important, because without unity, there's no way we can serve each other. There's no way our taxpayers can be served. So we also urge our taxpayers just to embody that value of national unity, so that at least we can work in synergy, we can work together, and also we can collect taxes appropriately. Sharing having a devolution of power. Currently, we are having a constitution. And in our current constitution, we have what we call the national government. We also have the county government. And that means in both national government and the county government, that we call collaboration, this consultation, whereby things cannot be done in limbo. There must be interpersonal relationships. So with regard to KRA, we have our offices which have been devolved in the county government, whereby if you need services, you can go to our offices in the county government. The tax service offices, you can be served appropriately. You can go to the Huduma centers. So that means KRA is entrenching, KRA is enabling taxpayers to be served appropriately, to facilitate service delivery, so that no one can complain that, hey, that I need to come to Nairobi to be assisted from Times Tower. No. So through devolution, through devolving our services to the public, it's easier for them to be sorted out from various tax service offices, and as I said, also from the Huduma centers. That's where our taxpayers can be served. Rule of law, it's very key. Remember, there's no way a country can be operated without the rules of law. And in that, the rules of law must be abided and they must be followed to the latter. So to our taxpayers, like in KRA, for instance, we have various tax heads that taxpayers must follow to the latter. For instance, payment of VAT. VAT is one of the tax heads, in that by 20th, you must pay your taxes. We have what we call pay as you earn. By 10th of every month, you must have paid your taxes. We have various other taxes. For instance, we have the rental income. Also by 10th, you're supposed to have paid the rental income just to avoid penalties. KRA also has what we call a Public Finance Act, whereby it has to be followed to the latter. And also, if taxpayers are engaged in various activities which are not with regard to the law, they are supposed to be prosecuted based on the various taxes, various laws that KRA has. So about the rule of law is just for taxpayers to be well informed that they must abide to KRA policies, to KRA timelines of payment of taxes, just to avoid penalties. Democracy is about engagement of the people. Democracy is about people being given powers to make decisions. And how we engage in democracy, for instance, in Kenya, we all get involved in maybe elections, choosing the right leaders, having the right people to guide us. So for instance, democracy, taxpayers are engaged on that, and also with regard to development of KRA policies. We don't work in limbo, as I said. We must engage our taxpayers in coming up with various policies or various guidelines. And also, we inform our taxpayers about the various policies that we have. For instance, excise duty, for instance, VAT. Most of the times, we normally have sessions in the grassroots levels. We invite various stakeholders to come and be informed about KRA policies, about various KRA acts, so that they can have information, they can have knowledge to implement what KRA expects them. And also in KRA, we normally have what we call online sensitizations. So we try to empower people, we try to empower taxpayers with information so that they can be informed. So democracy is very key, because democracy is about engaging people. People must be informed. Human dignity is a principle under the Bill of Rights, whereby our taxpayers have various rights and they have various obligations. And in KRA, we have a service charter which clearly stipulates the timelines of how a taxpayer is supposed to be served. So I urge our taxpayers to visit our website so that they can be well informed. But at the same time, KRA equally handles our taxpayers with utmost care and utmost dignity, because our staff are well trained, they are professionals, and that's how we are supposed to handle our taxpayers with utmost experience. We call it customer experience. We must give our taxpayers the best customer experience so that when they go back to their places of work, they'll appreciate how they've been served. So human dignity is very key. Also for persons with disability, KRA equally assists people with disability. Like for instance, when you come to KRA offices. We have various, our lift for instance, we call it a talking lift, whereby if someone is blind, we have a security officer there, whereby if you are going to 14th floor, probably you are going to domestic tax department, you just click 14th floor and the lift is able to talk to inform you where you are going appropriately, and also you'll be able to be guided appropriately. Also, Kra has employed persons with disability, in that we are also mainstreaming disability in our institution. So human dignity is very key. It means that we value people. It means that Kra is there to serve people accordingly. And also we have people who have been trained on sign language in various stations, in that if you are a person with disability, you have hearing impairment challenges, you can also be assisted. With regard to also procurement, this is what we call affirmative action, whereby we also engage people with disability and also the youth and women to get various procurement, to be able to procurement, so that at least they can be able to supply to Kra. Equity. As I said, human dignity, whereby Kra staff are supposed to be treated with utmost dignity and decorum. So equity again goes hand in hand with human dignity. It's all about how people are being treated. Are we having equity in Kra? Are we having equity in our country? The current debate that has been on the public domain is about equitable sharing of resources. Equity of sharing of resources is very key, and also in Kra also, for instance. If resources are not shared appropriately, it may bring some challenges to our country. And also we urge our taxpayers, in that if they're able to pay their taxes appropriately, if they're patriots and they pay their taxes appropriately, we're able to collect enough, and that money will be used to share resources to various counties. So equality goes hand in hand with patriotism, paying taxes, because if we pay taxes at the right time, if we collect taxes, if we avoid penalties or tax evasion, resources will be collected. And when it comes to sharing of resources, maybe when Treasury is sharing resources, every county, be it the county government, be it also the national government and other government agencies, they're able to get resources so that they can serve the common Mwananchi appropriately, and the Mwananchi can benefit from the resources that are shared. So equality is very key. And also in Kra, as I said, we treat each other with dignity and decorum, and we don't have special interest for some people. That's why I said earlier that be it person with disability, they are all treated equally, the same way we are treating other people. There's no preferential treatment for some and leaving others. Social justice is about fairness. It's about Kra being fair in what they do. And how does fairness come? For instance, through resolution of disputes, alternative dispute resolution. I know someone else will be talking about ADR. Kra is coming up with various strategies of solving this, not just going to the court, but sitting down in a round table discussion and discussing about various issues with tax evasion, because we don't want to apply the issues of punitive measures, but it's about us resolving issues amicably. So as I said, ADR is very key. Social justice is very key. We listen, we care, and our key policy is trade facilitation. We want to facilitate our taxpayers to pay their taxes, but we don't want to apply the punitive measures. So social justice is very key. It's about fairness and also treatment of our taxpayers. Inclusiveness is about each one of us being included in eating the cake. Let me just say that. Inclusiveness, as I said earlier, affirmative action is very key. We're not leaving anyone behind. Be it a taxpayer with disability, be it a taxpayer who does not have any disability, be it the youth, be it the women, all of them are included. There is no discrimination. With regard to employment also, when there is a request for employment by Kra, when they advertise for positions, it means that all the Kenyan people, they can apply for vacancies in Kra. So we include them as long as they are qualified, We want to represent the face of Kenya, and we are going to include them to work for Kra if there are opportunities. And also with regard to developing our policy, as I said, we normally have various forums, stakeholders meetings. We normally engage all the stakeholders. We normally work with institute that deals with National Council with Disabilities, and also various groups that deals with disability. So we normally engage them in various forums, and they're able to clearly inform us what they need from us and which support they need from us. Equality, usawa kwa Kiswahili, and I know we have a commission that deals with equality, National Gender and Equality Commission. It ensures that we have equal distribution of people working in various government institutions. For instance, in Kra, the ratio of female to male, with regard to also the tribe, with regard to also the youth. So equality is also enshrined in Kra, whereby you can't just get maybe older people serving you. You know, when you enter Kra offices, you're able to see the young people, you're able to see the older people, because the young people should learn from the older people. So that means there is good knowledge sharing, and you will be served appropriately. So equality is very key, and as I said, also when you enter also Kra offices, you'll also find people with disability, and they can serve you. We don't discriminate on anyone. So equality is very key in Kra, and we uphold to that. Human rights is also a principle of governance, and with regard to human rights, it's just basic things: right to life, right to education, right to love. We need to love each other. With regard to right to education, for instance, as I said earlier, the vision that I am is mainstreaming ethics and integrity. With regard to right to education, we need to inculcate knowledge of ethics, knowledge of integrity to our taxpayers. By them, to avoid tax evasion, by them to avoid what we call bringing prohibited items to our country, because we care about people. At the same time, also protecting the society, protecting our environment. If we bring narcotics, it's going to affect the people, the youths, and the younger generation. If we bring pornographic materials, so human dignity is about the right to life, right to protecting other people's welfare. So human dignity is okay, it's fine, but at the same time, people need to be treated with dignity and decorum, by us also engaging with them appropriately, by not bringing vices, probably bad values, or entrenching bad values to our youth. And it's based on also probably the manufacturers, so those who manufacture various items, the importers, the exporters. So through human dignity, if things are done appropriately, if the follow is followed to the latter, if we abide to the rule of law, we ensure that there is equal treatment of people very well. Non-discrimination, it goes hand in hand with equality, with equity, and with human dignity, because all these values interrelate to each other. And non-discrimination also, as I said earlier, is about people being treated with equality, with dignity, with decorum. With regard to employment, we just don't employ like one tribe. Kra has various tribes that are represented. We have tribes from the Ilchamus, for instance. We have the Subas, we have the Taitas, we have the Tavetas, we have the Ogieks. So we don't discriminate on any tribe. Long as if you feel when Kra advertises and you qualify to work for Kra, apply for those positions, apply for those vacancies, because you never know. Because Kra does not discriminate at all. People with disability, they are equally encouraged to apply for opportunities. So we don't discriminate on anyone. Forums that Kra normally has, we always invite the general population. We don't categorize that, we want these people to come, we want these people to come. No. We equally want to serve all the Kenyans. And we don't discriminate on anyone at all. With regard to the protection of the marginalized people, Kra ever since has been embarking on improving the livelihoods of people through what we call CSR, community social responsibility. Kra has been engaged in various projects, for instance, rehabilitation of schools, hospitals, also sponsoring various activities, for instance, golfing activities, sporting activities. And through that, when we have those sessions, we are able to educate the masses about KRA policies, about taxation, about customs. So we normally engage or include each of the people who are interested. And if you are invited to support various initiatives or various projects, KRA has been doing so. KRA has sponsored so many projects in Kwale, for instance, in Turkana, in Nairobi, and various marginalized places. So KRA is determined, is committed to support initiatives by the community, and through that, we are able to just inform them what KRA does with regard to taxation and also customs, as I said earlier. Again, also building of schools. Also, KRA supports people to learn. We also have what we call tax clubs in various schools, whereby KRA officers normally visit those schools just to create awareness to children about taxation, about customs, about various KRA operations. So we're able to include the marginalized, be it either you're in Isiolo, either we're in Wajir or Mandera. I know KRA normally has so many activities to empower people and also to improve the livelihoods of people. Good governance is about accountability. It's about transparency. It's about honesty. It's about having good values. With regard to accountability, are taxpayers accountable? Remember that we must be accountable to our actions and also what we do. Transparent. Are you transparent when you file your returns? Some of the taxpayers are not transparent in what they do probably. Some of them don't declare. We have what we call misdeclarations. We don't declare on iTax. We don't declare on what we call ICMS, Integrated Customs Management System. If you import goods, for instance, those goods, they're supposed to be verified by our customs officers. Normally what we call verification officers. We have various entry points. For instance, we have Kilindini, that's in Mombasa. We have JKIA. We have Moi Airport. We have ICD, Inland Container Depot. So at times we find our taxpayers importing items which are prohibited, for instance narcotics, and they don't want to declare, which normally affects people at the end of the day. So we urge our taxpayers to be transparent, to be accountable on their actions. So good governance is about transparency, it's about accountability, and also accountability is also a principle of, it's a national value principle. So if people are able to abide and are able to do the right things at the right time, it will be very good, because we'll avoid so many misfortunes that normally happen in our community and in our society. Integrity is a key principle that if all of us abide to it, we won't be having challenges in our country. What is integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing at the right time when no one is watching us. That means both in private and in public, we are supposed to do the right thing at the right time. Chapter 6 of the Constitution talks about leadership and integrity. Leaders that we choose are supposed to be people of leadership and who have impeccable integrity. Currently, under the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum, it's a forum that brings together all stakeholders who fight corruption and who entrench integrity. And KRA is part of that forum. We've developed a Kenya Integrity Plan that is supposed to be abided. The plan goes for 4 years. That is from 2019 to 2023. So the Kenya Integrity Plan has to be abided by the enforcement agencies. We have the religious institutions. We have the private sector. So all of them, they must abide to the Kenya Integrity Plan, because all of us, our interest is ensuring that we do things with integrity and we do things at the right time. We do things at the right things at the right time, even if no one is watching us. Again, as I always say, it's always good to do the right thing. It takes less time to do the right thing than it takes to explain why you did it wrong. So there's more emphasis on integrity, just doing the right thing at the right time. And Kra has come up with various measures to mainstream ethics and integrity. As I began, we have a division that deals with mainstreaming ethics and integrity, which is ethics, policy, and prevention. We have the division for intelligence management division, whereby their work is to gather intelligence. And if taxpayers are involved in tax evasion, a course of action will be taken upon them. Investigation of staff, our Kra staff, if they are found culpable, they're able to investigate it, to be investigated. And if evidence is collected, they'll find themselves facing the disciplinary. So integrity is very key to mainstreaming ethics. Uwazi na uwajibikaji. It is very key. As I said earlier, we must be responsible with our actions. Even if we are doing things behind the scene, we must be responsible, because at the end of the day, you will be accountable. With regard to transparency, that's why, for instance, in iTax, taxpayers are empowered to declare what they do. And for instance, if they don't declare appropriately, if we have misdeclarations, for instance, our officers are able to verify. If you're importing items, for instance, via customs, and you bring in prohibited goods, you have to be transparent, because we'll verify those items. And most of the times, some people are found culpable because of probably importing the wrong things that are not supposed to be imported to our country, that may destroy the society and also the people in general. So transparency is very key. What we do, we must do it very well. We must be open in what we do. We should not be doing things wrongly. Sustainable development is about us thinking about the future generation. And that's when I talked about prohibited items, about restricted items. There's no way we can bring prohibited items in our country and we anticipate that we are going to have a sustainable development. It can't happen. If things are done appropriately, transparency is very key, accountability is very key, integrity is very key. We're able to ensure that there is what we call sustainable development. We think about the future generation. And also Kra, of course. I applaud all the Kra staff because they're involved in collection of revenue. When they collect revenue, that revenue is being used in national development. And that's why we're having infrastructure. That's why we're having improved delivery of services. So through that, we also applaud our taxpayers for paying taxes, because they also contribute to sustainable development. Imagine if we don't have money, if we don't have resources, there's no way we can improve or also ensure there is proper service delivery. There's no way our country government can even get money. So it's by taxpayers paying taxes, it's by taxpayers probably being people of integrity, so that they can contribute also to the sustainable development of our country. So Kra also has been involved in planting of trees, because also planting of trees is one of the key issues of sustainable development. But if we have trees, if also taxpayers are involved in maybe planting trees, for instance, that means we'll be having adequate rain. That means we'll not be having even hunger in our country. But some of us are engaged in deforestation. But let's maintain the environment, let's pay taxes, and through that, of course, we'll have improved service delivery.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe we've understood the national values, and also we can go to the Constitution Article 10, whereby we can read also about the 17 national values, and through that we'll be informed, because it all applies also to our, not just at the work, but even at home. Thank you very much. One of the key measures that Kra has put in place to address corruption is automation of Kra processes. And one of them, our esteemed taxpayers, is iTax, for instance. What is iTax? You can file your returns via iTax. When you have a password, you can just log into iTax, and I know some of our taxpayers are well informed. That means you can pay your taxes appropriately via iTax. Also in what we call ICMS and a customs side, because in Kra you have to say you have tax and you have also customs. And those people who engage in businesses, importation and also exportation. That means there's a system that is called ICMS, Integrated Customs Management System. So basically that one is used mostly by clearing and forwarding agents. So also them, they can log entries, they can check entries, they can verify entries that have been worked upon. So it just simplifies and also saves time, unlike visiting Kra every other time. So when you have your system, you have a password, you just log in, and also you're able to track what you had applied for. So ICMS is very key. REX, Regional Electronic Cargo Tracking System. We work with various partner states. I know in Kenya, other partner states are, Kenya is one of them. We have Uganda, we have Tanzania, we have Rwanda, we have Burundi. So that means some of the countries are landlocked, and goods normally pass via the northern corridor. That means from Kilindini via the northern corridor, probably to various partner states, maybe via Uganda. Some goods go up to Zaire, Congo, they go up to Burundi, they go up to Rwanda. So REX ensures that those cargo, to ensure cargo safety of the goods, they're able to be tracked. So they're tracked because we have what we call a cyber command at Times Tower, just to ensure that those goods are not diverted, to ensure those goods are not being dumped in Kenya. Because when goods are dumped in Kenya, it ensures that there's no competition for those goods and they'll be sold at cheaper prices. So to ensure cargo safety, those goods will be tracked up to the border of the various partner states, so that we ensure that they're delivered appropriately and the safety of those cargo. Kra has at most gazetted border points, and in those border points we work with other partner states. For instance, one of the border points is Namanga border station. When you go to Namanga, the border stations have been modernized, whereby when you enter, for instance, we have entry for Kenya and we have exit for another country. And with regard to even facilitation of trade, you're able to be served very well. You go to Isibania, the same. We have one-stop border point. Taxpayer data clearly stipulates the obligations of a taxpayer. It also stipulates the timelines of service delivery to a taxpayer. So for instance, you've applied for a tax compliance certificate. The tax charter will clearly tell you after how many days that tax compliance will be ready. So I urge all taxpayers to visit our website www.kra.go.ke, whereby you can search on our charter and it can clearly inform you the various tax heads. What time, probably, when are you supposed to pay your taxes? If you are not well informed, payee, VAT, rental income, amongst other taxes, you'll be well informed and empowered. And even when you enter Kra offices, the first thing that you see is taxpayer charter, because it creates awareness to our taxpayers on what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to abide to. So currently we have a department that is called Intelligence and Strategic Operations Department. It was established in April 2017. And as I said earlier, the main work of that department is to ensure that implementation of integrity programs. And one of them is ethics, policy and prevention, whereby our work is to create awareness to the public, to inform them what Kra is doing with regard to fighting corruption in the institution. We also have a division called Internal Affairs Division. They deal with investigation of staff. If our staff are found culpable, they'll face the disciplinary and explain why they've been found culpable. And they also collect evidence. We also conduct what we call integrity testing, because once in a while we conduct integrity testing to our staff. If we get complaints that they're not following procedures, policies, we are able to conduct an integrity test just to check whether they are well informed about the various policies and procedures of KRA. Again, another division is called Integrity Assurance Division, or at times you'll hear people saying lifestyle audit. So the division was established to conduct lifestyle for officers who live beyond their means. And also, our taxpayers, if you feel we have some of our KRA officers living beyond their means, you can also inform us, and I'll share with you the numbers you can contact us. Because as taxpayers, of course, you know who your neighbor is. And some of you taxpayers have been complaining that we have officers living beyond their means. Some of them are stealing from the public coffers. And if you have evidence, you can still share with us. And also, again, the division does what we call vetting. Our staff are normally vetted. If you apply for a job in KRA, you must be vetted to check whether you're a person of integrity. If a staff is supposed to be promoted from one cadre to another cadre, they must be vetted. And also, if they're supposed to be transferred also from one division to other division which are, or probably areas that are sensitive, they must be vetted to ensure that they are people of integrity. Intelligence Management Division also is a very key division that we have in the Department for Intelligence, and their main work is collection of intelligence. And when we collect intelligence, we're able to know whether taxpayers are paying taxes or probably they are evading from tax. So it's a very key division that is able to collect information, and we also do what we call profiling. That's why I'm here, our esteemed taxpayers, just to inform you what KRA does with regard to the Department of Intelligence and Strategic Operations, because KRA has come up with measures to fight corruption and for people to uphold integrity. So we sensitize our staff just to inform them about integrity issues, to inform them about our policies. We have various KRA policies that also staff are supposed to be informed about them. For instance, we have a policy that deals with, it's called KRA Anti-Corruption Policy, where KRA has zero tolerance towards corruption. KRA does not entertain corruption at all. And if our staff is found corrupt, of course, as I said, the staff, if there's evidence, the staff will be prosecuted, and also even the taxpayer, because remember, corruption is a two-way traffic, not just like a KRA officer being involved in corruption. Someone else probably who induces or probably who gives money. So KRA is zero tolerance towards corruption, and that's why you have that policy, KRA Anti-Corruption Policy. We also have what we call a gift policy. The gift policy is approved policy in KRA, and actually that policy stipulates that a KRA officer is not supposed to receive any gift from a taxpayer or even any money, which is bribery. And if a taxpayer, for instance, attends probably a forum or maybe is engaged in maybe stakeholder engagement and probably is given a gift, that gift is supposed to be declared to the authority. That gift belongs to KRA. It does not belong to the officer. So a KRA officer is supposed to declare the gift, and we have a system in KRA called Ethics Information Management System, whereby the officer is supposed to declare that system internally. And also we have limits for issuance of gifts. If a gift is above 20,000, even a KRA officer is not supposed even to receive that gift. And if he receives, under some circumstances, he's supposed to declare to the state. So we urge our taxpayers not to be giving gifts to KRA officers, because we're all public officers. And remember, as a public officer, we're supposed to serve selflessly. Our work is to serve taxpayers, but not receiving gifts. Because if a taxpayer gives a gift to an officer, it's a way of inducing. It's an inducement to an officer probably to do the right thing, or probably to do the wrong thing. But an officer is not supposed to declare to receive any gift, and in case he receives that gift, he's supposed to declare to the supervisor via the AIMS system, and the authority will decide how the gift is supposed to be discharged. Our institution has a code of conduct. A code of conduct guides our staff on how they're supposed to conduct themselves. And that means that code of conduct, a KRA officer is supposed to understand. He's supposed to conduct himself based on the code of conduct. That means he's supposed to be informed. I know all our staff have been given the code of conduct and they're supposed to learn. And we have we have a department called Division for Human Resource, and the key work is to ensure that our staff are well informed about the code of conduct. They are trained by the Human Resource Division, and also the Human Resource Division are able to just ensure that staff understand if a staff is employed in Kra, the Human Resource takes them through the code of conduct. So I urge all, of course, our staff and also our taxpayers also to have their own code of conduct that guides them. The code of conduct is like an instrument that guides taxpayers to understand what is good and what is bad. So if taxpayers have their own code of conduct, for instance, if you have a new company, it's good for you to come up with a code of conduct that's able to guide your own employees, so that even the code of conduct can stipulate probably when to pay, when are you supposed to pay for your pay, when are you supposed to pay for the VAT, when are you supposed to pay for your rental income. So I urge all taxpayers also to have their own code, just to guide them, to also guide their employees on what is good and what is wrong, because it's a way of entrenching ethics via the code of conduct. And all the institutions actually are supposed to come up with their own code of conducts. So whistleblower policy is also one of the policies that we have in Kra. And with regard to whistleblower policy, I can say that we've empowered our taxpayers to give us information. And that's why we have that department called Intelligence and Strategic Operations Department, because we want to get also intelligence from our taxpayers with regard to tax evasion. So that policy comes in to inform staff and also to inform our taxpayers, because it both applies to staff and also to our taxpayers, in that policy protects them from victimization, from being demoted, for instance, if it's our staff. So that policy also informs the taxpayer and also the public in general that if they give us information that is able to yield revenue, we can give you 5% of that money that we've been able to recover, to a maximum of 2 million. I think that's a very good deal to our taxpayers, in that Kra now is rewarding our taxpayers. It's rewarding the whistleblowers who give us information. And who is a whistleblower? It's someone who gives us information, someone who speaks up if there's corruption. So taxpayers, kindly, if probably you come across someone engaged in illicit trade and custom goods which have not been paid taxes, inform Kra. There are those who import, probably they import and custom goods. They import, as I said earlier, some of them also import narcotics. Again, others are engaged in ivory business, which is prohibited in our country. So we urge our staff, if they have intelligence, and that intelligence enables us to collect revenue, we're able to give them 5% of that money that we've been able to collect, to a maximum of 2 million. We don't surpass 2 million. So I think that's good information to our taxpayers. So we urge them to give us information, not to hide information from us. And actually, when they get the information, they can decide either to come to Times Tower, 26th floor. We have the main department is there, and we have a division that deals with complaints, whereby they can complain, and they'll be treated with utmost confidentiality, and even the whistleblower will be protected, because we also work with witness protection agents, whereby we also protect our taxpayers. Some taxpayers also may feel that probably when I give information, I'm not secure. No. And very soon also we'll be launching a web-based anonymous system. That system actually will be protecting our taxpayers, whereby when you send us information, the info will be confidential. And also you as a taxpayer, no one will know that you've shared information with us. So very soon we'll be launching the anonymous web-based application or system, whereby we are going also to inform our taxpayers about it, so that we'll urge them to be complaining and also to be sharing information that probably they feel is very sensitive. But even now they can still share the information, but we are also enhancing our systems, because it's all about continuous improvement, and you're improving our processes and our systems in Kra. So also we have a telephone number. If you want to report, or also if you want to complain, the hotline number is 0726 984-668. Let me repeat again. The hotline number is 0726-984-668. We have a corruption reporting office at 26th floor. Just come and report. That's our number. Let's be people of integrity and let's pay our taxes appropriately. Let's love our country. Let's be patriotic.